Several people ask us about the new interactive webinars function in Marketo. The main question they ask is that for me? It's not for you if you're new to webinars and you're looking for something complicated, not integrating with Marketo, expensive and hard to deploy. If you are looking for that and you need to deploy new webinars in your company, don't use interactive webinars. They are easy, they are integrated with Marketo, they are simple, they can be run with your existing knowledge about Marketo or the agency that helps you today, and you don't need to pay more because it's included with the Marketo license. So that's case number one. The second one is, can you shut up please? The second one is, if you have already a webinar platform in place and it's really expensive and you're happy with that and you don't need to reduce your budget, you don't need to try interactive webinars. So that's case number two. Case number three, if you have a big marketing operations team, you are full of resources, people is quiet, they are drinking martinis on the terrace and they don't have nothing to do, they are bored to death and they are really happy with their workloads today, why would you make them use interactive webinars? Something simple, something straightforward. Give them something challenging as another platform that's hard to manage. So that's case number three. Case number four, if you have a big budget and no one is asking you to reduce it, to get it down, to get more money to do other things, why are you going to use interactive webinars? You don't need to save anything, just continue with your spending plan, ask for more money because it's abundant, or isn't it? And the last case, if your sales guys are never rushing, never asking you who came to the webinar, what did they ask, what are they wanting to know, are they returning, are they the first time, which question did they ask, which things are important for them. If your sales guy are quiet, lay down, and they don't care about that, and they don't bomb your email or your Teams or your Slack after you create one webinar or 10 webinars, you don't need interactive webinars. In all the other cases, take a look at this brief summary about our webinar, and I will put the webinar link in the comments. Bye. I forgot to record this, maybe the main use case. You don't give a shit about what people think in your webinars. You are not interested in replying to the questions they ask. You prefer them to not ask any question because you don't have anyone available to reply to any question. So if basically you don't care about your attendees, why would you use interactive webinars? Interactive webinars allows people to interact, participate, give their opinion, show interest, and get into next level engagement levels. So if you don't care about your marketing and the impact in your audience, why would you improve your webinars with interactive webinars?
Experience that you're going to have is this webinar itself is being run on interactive webinars in Marketo. So that is the first thing you can take home. What it feels like, what the experience is like in seeing how the tiles work, the pods work, and just doing that check from your end, how the user is going to experience this. But of course, there's a few things that I want to go through. And so basically, the pods are the little boxes you will see within the layout. There are many pods that are already built. They are default. So the most usual could be the videos, the polls, the Q&As, and all those kind of the most often used ones. You could also build customized pods, consume and download a whole catalog of pods that you can then use for your own webinars. But it's really a difference if you can make the follow-up immediately right after the webinar, or just even as we hang out, you get your salespeople, which are assigned to specific people who have attended, have asked a question, was a clever question, might lead over to an opportunity. So how is it so cool if you can immediately load a task to somebody in your CRM so they can ensure that is being handed. Everything can be built inside Marketo, so your promotion for your webinars, making the production of the webinar, who's the speaker, everything is going to reside directly within your Marketo campaign. You're going to be able to avoid some of the problems. I'm not saying there are always problems in webinars, but we all know here that problems sometimes happen, and they tend to happen on events. So touch the layouts and immediately show a different experience, hide out one of the pods, but you can do all sorts of things with the layout during the duration of the webinar. Okay.
It is also bringing in more changes, like right now in the top left corner, you are seeing a Adobe Connect logo. You will be able to customize that to be your own brand's logo.
And what happens with the activity? So we love activity log in Marketo. It's so granular. It just tells us anything about people. Of course, I will have the same ability in understanding what they did during my webinars, whether they answered to a specific question, whether they were, I don't know, if you use a survey or a poll to measure satisfaction, you can rate that and trigger off a specific campaign against that answer in that poll or in that survey. So it's really actionable. It is going to reside there in your activity log to build or feed into your many views they're having and so on. And but what did Adobe recently announce? Everything is AI nowadays, and of course, we will have the opportunity to have AI clusterizing webinars in terms of topic that I'm covering during that webinar. So there will be automatically grouped, or the platform will provide me an AI generated summary of whatever I spoke about during that session. So
Yeah, the same registration link that I think all, so whatever all the URLs that people have used to join the session today, they could let registrations to continue even after the event has ended, so that participants will automatically be redirected to the recording, and yeah, you are able to reuse the session.
it doesn't mean that it's just stick there. It's like glued. You still have flexibility while the webinar is running to move things around. And those are the layouts. So again, thinking about the on-site event, this is how I'm going to lay out the chairs for my room. Is it going to be U shaped? Is it going to be classroom shaped? So basically here is exactly the same. And Edu is on the wheels today. He's managing this, so he could at some point just shift. So just think that maybe he can just touch the layouts and immediately have show a different experience, hide out one of the pods. So just in a wrap, it's native. It's just Marketo. We love it. We've been working, at least I have, for over 11 years. The activity of any activity that somebody does within the webinar is going to be stored in the same database that we're working with all day. That stems out the use of different filters and triggers that are going to maximize the return and the follow-up on that webinar.